Okay, this one is creepy as hell. In July 2012, a woman named Laura Ackerson received a phone call. It was late, around 2:44 a.m., and when she picked up, all she heard was silence. She didn't know the number. There was no caller ID, so she hung up. She assumed it was some kind of wrong number, or maybe a telemarketer who somehow managed to dial the most unholy hour of the day. Then it happened again the next night. The next night after that, same time, 2:44 a.m., and still no one said a word. The only thing on the other end of the line was an unnerving silence. So on the fourth night, Laura did something about it. She recorded the call and then let it go to voicemail. After all, she was an adult, and she was allowed to go missing if she wanted to. But her brother didn't think so. All the photos that Laura had posted recently seemed to have the same caption all alone. He went to the bar where Laura and her friends had been the night before. He talked to the bartender and learned that they had arrived around 7 p.m. on July and stayed for about 3 hours. The car pulled up outside her apartment complex, and a man came out and walked up to her. The two exchanged some words. He showed them the footage and reminded them about the strange phone calls and the last text message that had come from her phone. On July 13, 2012, 30-year-old Laura Ackerson was captured on video. Surveillance footage exiting a vehicle in the 9300 block of Katy Freeway West in Houston. Subsequent investigation revealed Laura was dropped off by an acquaintance and voluntarily entered the vehicle with an unknown white male. The circumstances surrounding the incident are suspicious and are currently under investigation. Finally, the police seemed convinced that something terrible had happened to her. As far as we know, he could be anyone. In 2013, Laura's brother told the press, "I know whoever took her is responsible for her disappearance, whether they killed her or not. If anyone knows what happened to her, please come forward. We deserve that much. Our family deserves that much." The man gestured towards the passenger seat, as if asking her to get in. Laura hesitated, but then she did. Then they drove off together. Laura had drunk 2 margaritas and eaten some guacamole. With that said, thank you so much for watching. At 10:30 p.m., she went to the bathroom and never came back. Her friends became worried, so they began looking for her. They checked the parking lot. They checked the nearby streets. They even called her phone, but it went straight to voicemail. Eventually, they gave up and left without her. That was the last time anyone had seen her. Then it occurred to him that those photos had been taken the day before her disappearance. On July, Laura had reposted a photo from a friend who was enjoying a night out with some girls. But Laura's reposted version had a different caption. It read, "Wishing I was there," which made no sense because Laura had been there. She had taken the exact same picture. He said, "That is just not my sister. She would never do that to us. She would never leave her job. She loved her job. For one thing, she had been drinking, which meant that she wouldn't have been able to drive herself home. She would have needed a ride." Which brings us to another detail that the police had overlooked. Before her brother left the bar that night, he looked up surveillance footage from the night of July 13th. He wanted to see what had happened, too. Laura after she left the bar at 10:30 p.m., but what he saw shocked him. She wouldn't leave her cats, her babies, as she would call them. She has a really good job. She's got a boyfriend who she really likes. She's got people that love her, friends that care about her. Why would she leave? And besides, if she had left, why would she have left her phone behind? The last message on it was a selfie that she had taken from inside her closet. That meant someone had taken her phone from the charger, opened the camera app, and snapped a picture while she was fast asleep in bed. When she listened back, she could have sworn she heard what sounded like a man's voice. They refused to believe that their daughter and sister had just run away without a trace. But the more time that passed, the more they began to fear the worst. It was faint and distorted, as if he were speaking into a phone. But when she played it back, all she heard was silence once again. It wasn't until the 6th night that anything actually happened. Laura picked up the phone, and the same unnerving silence greeted her. But right before she hung up, she heard the faintest whisper. Laura's roommate came home to find their front door wide open and their friend nowhere to be seen. They called the police, and they began searching for her. They looked everywhere. They asked all their neighbors, even put out a bee on TV. But nobody had seen her. Nobody knew where she was or what had happened to her. It was barely audible, but it sent chills down her spine. It was just one word. It was barely a breath. But she swore it was enough for her to know that whatever was on the other end of that line was inside her house. Found you. And then the calls stopped. But 2 days later, on July 18th, 2012, Laura's family never gave up hope. They'd put up missing posters all over town. They organized search parties. It took them less than a day to find out that Laura was not at work. Her boss told the cops that she hadn't shown up for her overnight shift the night before. They also learned that she hadn't been on her social media accounts since the night of the 16th. 2 nights after the mysterious phone calls stopped. But the strangest thing of all was that they couldn't get in touch with her friends either. Laura was a fairly outgoing person, and her family wanted to know why none of her friends had come forward with any information. And that was because they hadn't spoken to Laura since the 16th as well. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. The police seemed to think that she'd probably just run away. That's when her brother noticed something else. The police didn't seem to take these new details very seriously, so Laura's brother decided to investigate on his own. Laura's brother was not convinced that she had simply wandered off on her own. Just 2 minutes after leaving the bar, Laura was dropped off in a car. With this new evidence, Laura's brother went back to the police. On August 1st, 2012, the FBI released this statement. To this day, Laura's body has never been found, and neither has the man who was driving the car. And we couldn't agree more. If you enjoyed this episode, then check out more content.